Joining us now from her home in St. Catharines via Skype, we have Chelsea Widdicombe. Chelsea, March 12th, left for Peru and, well, I should say arrived in Peru, I believe, on March 12th. Spent a few days with a friend, Scott Robinson, touring around the country. And the day of March 15th, they were ready to go to Machu Picchu to see the Inca ruins. Chelsea, can you describe to us what happened on that day?
We are supposed to meet at a certain spot in Aguas Caliente to take a bus to Machu Picchu. But once we got to that point, it was around 5 a.m. when we found out that, Machu Picchu was closed, the town was closing. And probably 20 minutes after we found that out, we found out the Peru borders were closing that night. We were about 4 hours away from Cusco, which is the nearest airport. So we had to wait, 4 hours to get the train to take us to the next town over. And then we had to find a bus or a taxi to take us to Cusco. We got to the airport. We couldn't get a plane to Lima, which is the only international airport that will fly you to Canada. Really long day of just struggling. And, we ended up being quarantined in Cusco for 11 days.
You had to rush to find an Airbnb in which you and Scott could stay.
None of us really knew how to get in contact with anyone. The government there is very strict and we don't speak the language. So all of us were lost on what to do. We had to just go on social media. Thankfully, a couple we know from Calgary started like a Facebook group for all of us to get information. And they were pretty much our key source of information.
About a week ago, Justin Trudeau, the Prime Minister, announced that there were going to be some flights out of Peru. But again, at the beginning of that, when that process was starting, all of those flights were leaving from Lima, and you and Scott felt that you were going to be stuck for the duration and still with no clue of when you were going to get home. How did things turn around for you?
Yeah, so the government they were very quiet about their plans. They didn't really explain what was going to happen. So we didn't know if they were going to try to bring people from Cusco to Lima. So we thought we would be there for the duration because there were no plans. We got the call that we were going to get the special code to book a flight early in the morning. People didn't get it until like late in the afternoon. But even then, that was just the flight from Lima to Toronto. We had no idea what was happening from the Cusco to Lima.
You met at 5:30 in the morning at the town square in Cusco. What was the process from that point?
We had from 5:30 to 6:30 to meet in the square. And then we waited for about a half an hour. We got on a bus. They took us to the airport. They took our temperatures. We laid our luggage down for the dogs to check it. Waited to check our luggage and then pretty much ran to the flight because by then we were already about an hour behind schedule. So then we boarded that flight, flew to Lima, got on a bus, and then they drove us on the military base to our next flight where we waited about 2 hours on the plane for everyone to get on, and then we left.
What did it feel like when you finally touched down in Toronto?
It felt nice. You can't really describe the feeling because, again, we thought we were going to be stranded in Peru until like June, and then like out of nowhere we get the email, and then within 24 hours we're in Toronto. So it was a really good feeling.
You're now under a 14-day quarantine.
Like my family, my neighbors and everything had pretty much stocked up my house, which was lovely. A great experience coming home with all the support we got from everyone.
Thank you very much. That's Chelsea Widdicombe, who has joined us today back in Canada after feeling that she was going to be stuck indefinitely in the country of Peru. Back with more in a moment on your TV.